You know that feeling when a total stranger slides into your direct messages and tries to sell you something? Yeah, that is called cold calling typically, because it used to happen over the phone, and it is just the worst possible way to sell anything, really, in my opinion. It doesn't have to be this awkward, slimy, gross, ugh kind of thing. It can actually be really awesome, but we have to know how to do it well. I want to talk about a deeper understanding of marketing that can make it so much easier for you. It's made it so much easier for me, and it's something that is widely known outside of the writing community, but I have not seen anything like this in our little community, and so that's just what I've seen. It could be out there, but I just wanted to bring it to you guys because maybe you've never heard of it, or even if you have, maybe you haven't heard of it applied to books in this way, and I really want to give some fun examples so that you can actually see what I'm talking about. All right, I want to take you guys on over to my desk and actually draw this out for you because it really helped me to see it. And for those of you who were worried last time, I did put a desk calendar that I made of penny underneath to protect the desk. And so I'm just going to try to draw this out for you really fast and just give you an actual picture of how to do sales well. And so a sales funnel is, you know, it's an actual funnel. This is like the worst drawing ever. And so when you're selling, you start out with obviously total strangers, right? And then you have your offer. I hope you guys can see this. Okay, good. And then you have, you know, your offer is very often in the writing community, it's your book. A lot of people try to just jump from, hey, total stranger, buy my book, you know, and there's nothing in between. So the idea of what this is called the sales funnel is to lead them through a much smoother process. There's 3 levels, and so you have cold, warm, and hot leads, and this is just common sales terms, but the idea is a cold lead is somebody who really knows nothing about you. They're the total stranger. They're entering in and first meeting you. So your job here is to help them get to know you. And so this is like an introduction. It's just, you know, this is who I am, this is what I'm about. Your job in this stage of the funnel is not to sell them anything whatsoever. You're not selling in this stage. And a lot of people get really uncomfortable with sales and book sales because they think that they need to start off selling. And a lot of people feel uncomfortable when they're sold to in this stage. Like, hey, I just met somebody and they're trying to sell me something. I don't know them at all. I need to get to know them first. When you move into the warm stage, your job is to help people like you. And so believe it or not, when you're here in the like stage, you're still not selling to them because they don't know or like you yet. And so your job here is actually to bring value and to actually give them things that they can use, that they can actually enjoy. Whether, you know, sometimes a lot of us writers give writing advice because that's valuable, but you could also give humorous things. You could share encouragement, and just generally, even if it's just your story itself, you're bringing value. And so you might share snippets of your story and things like that. You'll see people do this in a million different ways, but the idea is to give them something they can use and enjoy and help them like you. So your job here is still not selling. And then when you move into the hot stage, I probably shouldn't have drawn the box first. Let's see if I can make this fit. Trust is your goal here. And then at this point, when they trust you, that is when you finally sell. You give the links, you know, you're like, hey, by the way, I have something else that's valuable that you would also enjoy, such as my awesome book. And so if you're leading people through this funnel, by the time they reach this part of the funnel, they know, like, and trust you. And so of course they want to support you. Of course they want to know about your awesome book. And of course you want to tell them because you have built up, honestly, this is what it comes down to. You've built up a real relationship with them. Now, obviously, if you are wanting to be a bigger author and you have, you know, 1,000, 10,000 fans, whatever, you're not going to be able to have a one-on-one relationship with everybody, but you can still create this sales funnel where you take total strangers and help them know, like, and trust you, so that then when they see your offer and your book and whatever else it is that you are excited to share with them, it's enjoyable for both of you. It's enjoyable for you to tell them about the book because they're your friend that you've gotten to know, you've brought them value, so you know that you're not scamming them. You've actually been giving them value, and you know that your book is also valuable, or whatever it is that you're wanting to sell. You've put the time in to make it valuable. You've given them free value. You've helped them get to know you. And so when they reach this point, it's no longer slimy. It's no longer awkward and uncomfortable and frustrating. It is actually enjoyable for both of you because of that relationship. And so this sales funnel is such a game changer for me. I've seen the sales funnel. If you Google it, there's so many different versions of it, but this is the one that really hit home for me when I realized that you can actually enjoyably sell things, and it's not uncomfortable and it's not frustrating for either party. And this is how you can enjoy selling your book. So let me try to give you some real life examples, because it can be fun to see this in theory, but it's like, how does it actually apply? And so one of my favorite platforms is Instagram. I love Instagram. And so I'm going to talk about a post and a story and just walk you through this. So in a post and a story, a post is what they call evergreen, where it stays there, but it's not that evergreen because it gets pushed down. So it's still fairly temporary, but a story is only 24 hours. So to effectively walk somebody through the sales funnel in just 24 hours, it's going to look really different than the way you might do it on a post. So let's start with a post, for example. If I'm posting on Instagram and I know that I want to help people know, like, and trust me, because I don't want to just shove my book in their face. Nobody likes that, and I don't like doing that. Then I would start out remembering that I want them to get to know me. So you're not always going to introduce yourself and say, hi, my name's Bethany, by the way. But you might be able to do this with your flavor and just who you are shining through. So that could be just the way that you speak, the way that you write your post that has your unique you in it. And then the bringing the value. I personally think, I'm not perfect at this, by the way. So if you ever see a post where I'm just like, oh my gosh, I have an audiobook, and there's no specific value that I'm bringing, that's because I'm not a robot, but I do try really, really hard to bring value in every post. So whether that's encouragement, writing advice, although of course in our community I try to be really careful with how I do that, and just things that people can enjoy. Maybe it's something funny, maybe it's a behind the scenes story, or a bit of my book even. So things that they will like and enjoy and have value, all in one post. And then at the end is what they call the call to action, where you say, hey, by the way, if you want, you can go buy my book. It's in the, what do they say? Link in bio. So you just say, hey, the link is in the bio. If you want to go check it out, I would love that. I would love for you to read it. That's your call to action. And that is at the point where they trust you, because you've helped them get to know you and helped them like you, and building that trust. And so that's an example of how in one post you can start out helping them get to know you and bringing value, and then follow up with, by the way, here's my awesome offer that I'm excited about, and at that point, they're excited about it. So how does that work in, for example, a story instead? Because whatever you're on, if you're on Twitter or Facebook or your newsletter or whatever else, you're going to probably have to apply this in slightly different ways, but I do think it can apply. So for example, in a story, you might not do this all in this exact order, but you still should consider that if you're going to show up in stories every day, it's good to make sure that you touch on each of these. So for example, I don't want my stories to be all selling. I don't want to ever come across like, hey, this is my book, buy my book. Hey, buy my book, buy my book. Like, that's no fun for anybody to watch. And even for the people who do trust me, it's honestly not even fun for them. It's not a bad thing to do this. Like, eventually you do want to talk about your work, but if you bring in who you are and help the new people, because you're always going to have new people coming onto your platform all the time, brand new people who've never heard of you before. If you can try to make an effort to do a story where they also get to know you, and whether that's just you talking or you showing the things that you care about and enjoy in life, or fun things or things you've learned, which actually kind of ties into this section, things you've learned, you're bringing value, like, hey, this is what happened behind the scenes today. Behind the scenes is bringing value because they can just see what your particular writing career is like, or you can bring entertaining quotes or whatever. But it's important to do all three of these things, because if you ever just get one and not the others, it is ineffective. It doesn't really help you. And so if you're just helping people get to know you, that's great, but you're not leading them through the funnel to your book. And so don't be surprised if people don't even really know about your book, because honestly, how will they if you don't talk about it? And then if you're bringing tons of value, but you're not showing who you are personally, they might just be like, that's nice, but there's not that relationship and connection to you. So anyway, this is the funnel. I hope this makes sense to you guys. And that's how I apply it to things like Instagram, and how I try to make my sales not slimy and actually enjoy it. And just for fun, I decided to make this little graphic of the book sales funnel in case you guys want to screenshot it to save it for yourself for the future as a reminder, or share it with friends. I hope that makes sense. I'm still kind of internalizing it myself, and I feel like the more that I intentionally do this, the more I feel amazing about sales, because it's coming from a place of value. It's literally just caring about people. Like the saying goes, nobody cares what you know until they know that you care. And so I think that applies to marketing too. Like, nobody cares what you're selling until they know that you care about them. And as weird as that sounds, I really do think it is about truly caring about people, and caring enough that you're making an amazing product because you want them to love it and you want to help them. This just really honestly makes marketing so much more fun for everybody, because, like, for example, in this video, we've been chatting and you've been getting to know me throughout the whole video because my personality comes through. I can't help it. And at the same time, I've been sharing tons of value, and I try to give as much value as possible. And I hope that that comes through and that you guys can see that. And so then, you know, if I get to the end of a video like this and I want to say, by the way, I have books written. If you're curious, I write, you know, YA fantasy if you like that. And I also have a series on marketing for authors if you're interested in that. It has everything that I've learned so far that I try to help other authors not go through the rough patches that I went through. And so that felt comfortable to me. I hope it felt comfortable to you. And it's not pressure. It's not a total stranger being like, buy my book. It's just me talking to a friend and being like, hey, this is what I have, by the way, if you're interested. That's it. Anyway, I hope this video was super helpful for you. Give it a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Definitely remember, you should subscribe if you haven't already. And I will talk to you guys again very soon. Bye.